Good morning. I'd like to welcome all of you to the Bay Area Experience Evidence-Based Policy webinar series, organized by the Policy Research at Hong Kong IAPS and co-sponsored by the CUHK Global China Research Program. I'm Fanny Cheung, the convener of Policy Research at Hong Kong IAPS and the moderator of the webinar series. The CUHK Policy Research at Hong Kong IAPS program is dedicated to promoting cross-boundary and interdisciplinary collaboration on policy research. To facilitate academic exchange and social awareness on different policy issues, we invite scholars, policy makers, and stakeholders to discuss policies across different areas. The focus of this webinar series is the strategic development of the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area, or in short, the GBA, one of the strategic focus areas of our Global China Research Program. The GBA comprises of the two special administrative regions of Hong Kong and Macau, and the 9 municipalities of Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Zhuhai, Foshan, Huizhou, Dongguan, Zhongshan, Jiangmen, and Shaoqing in Guangdong Province. The development of the Greater Bay Area is key to the strategic planning of the country. The aim is to leverage the advantages of the above regions and cities to contribute to cooperation and integration amongst districts and to promote regional economic development. The plans for the Greater Bay Area cover multiple policy areas, including innovation and technology, economy, urban planning, education, and others. We have planned a monthly Greater Bay Area webinar from now through July 2022. Today's topic is research and innovation outlook in the Greater Bay Area. The Greater Bay Area development brings valuable opportunities to Hong Kong's innovation and technology development. Universities in Hong Kong can leverage on the advantages on academic excellence and global status in our academic standing to contribute to this international IT hub. The Chinese University of Hong Kong is among the first universities to build its connectivity with the mainland and the Greater Bay Area. In this webinar, the speakers will share the experience and views on cross-border research and development of innovations in the Greater Bay Area, including what are the roles of Hong Kong's universities, researchers, and IT industry under this new economic and social landscape? How can cooperation among cities in the GBA be deepened, and how can universities' impact on the region be promoted? What are the opportunities and challenges of rapid integration between Hong Kong and the Greater Bay Area? We have 3 speakers today, including Professor Kam-wai, Associate Dean, Faculty of Engineering at CUHK, Dr. Huangquan Ling, Director of the Office of the Greater Bay Area Development at CUHK, and Professor Ling, Choh-Ming, Professor of Orthopaedics and Traumatology at CUHK. We'll ask them to give their presentations first before we open up for questions and discussion. Our first speaker is Professor Kam-wai. Professor Wong obtained his PhD from Edinburgh University in Scotland. His research interests focus on Chinese computing, database, and information retrieval. has published over 250 technical papers in these areas in different international journals, conference proceedings, and books. He's a pioneer in university entrepreneurship. In 1998, he successfully transformed his AI scientific research technology into a startup company. Professor Wong has been actively promoting cooperation between Hong Kong and the mainland in innovation and technology. He believes that Hong Kong plays an important role in the development of the global digital economy. Professor Wong will talk about Hong Kong's innovation and technology development in the Greater Bay Area under the Hong Kong Chief Executive's 2021 policy address. Please join me in welcoming Professor Wong.
It's nice to see everyone online. I wish that we could have meet each other face to face. It would actually help the discussion even better. So as a big topic, so I think I'll just start it off, and perhaps you can have more questions afterwards. I want to focus a little bit on the policy address. So because there's something very different fundamentally in this year's policy address from Hong Kong. Well, policy address, some of you may not know that this actually strategic planning is an annual strategic planning of the Hong Kong government. But you can see that this year's strategic plan or the policy address itself has two main differences comparing with previous years. Firstly, it is actually very associated with the GBA drive, or actually the 14th five-year plan drive of our nation. And secondly, because of that, you can see that we are not only looking only to the needs of Hong Kong itself, but we are also looking in an integral way of how we can work together with the Shenzhen government. So, which is I would say the first time that we look at the strategic planning side of it in that way, looking sort of collaboratively on what we can do together with Shenzhen. So I am from Faculty of Engineering. I'm always been looking at the innovation and technology sides of the development. So my focus will be mainly on innovation and technology policy. So, oops, sorry. Okay. So so this is the picture of the Greater Bay Area, and the chairlady has already explained to everyone. So briefly, it's 9+2. But firstly, from there are two angles to look at this thing. Firstly, from the social angle, we have to realize that in Hong Kong, many of us are actually from the Guangdong area, and many of us are actually getting old, and many of us are actually traveling back for retirement. So if that is the case, if they have to move into the Guangdong area, into the Greater Bay Area, so from the government point of view, I guess that they would think of policy ways and actually and servicing them well, even if they were not in Hong Kong itself. And the next point to look at is economics. From the economic side, as we all know, that our population size is about 7.4 million, which is very small, in fact. But now, if you open it up to the whole of GBA, including Hong Kong, it will be something like of the range of 80 million, something like 8 to 9 times of the size of Hong Kong. So I mean, we don't particularly have to think about the innovation and technology sector or industry. I mean, just the population size itself, just the market size itself, it is actually very attractive. And the local and the Hong Kong government has always understand that this is the market of the future, and we should do something to see how we can do our the best to do better. Okay, so in the 2021 policy address, some of you may have read it, and there's some idea about the northern district, the northern they call it the northern economic belt. So from this diagram here, I want to show that an idea that is pushed forward. The idea of the Victoria Metropolitan District in here, which is the southern part, which is our main CBD. So it has been our main CBD area. So the population are very dense. So from a social, from a city planning point of view, the idea of this year's of the idea of introducing the idea of Northern District Metropolis area, which is on the northern part of New Territories, the first thinking is about decentralizations of how the population can actually go into migrate or not migrate, or actually move out, decentralized into the northern part. And it is expected in the next 10 years, there will be up to about 2.5 million population will be moved into this area. This is one angle of looking at that. But whenever we try to move the population itself, we also have to think about the support, the surrounding support, including jobs, including transportation and etc. So in terms of jobs, for example, so the idea now is that in the northern part of this part itself, they call it, they will try to do it, they try to promote innovation and technology industry in this area in the northern part, and leaving the southern part as the finance part of it. So many of you may have heard from the media, which says that the Hong Kong government has been saying something like, okay, southern finance and northern innovation and technology. So these are two separate sectors that the Hong Kong government are planning to develop in the next few years. So looking into the northern part itself is actually started from the CUHK area. But before I say that, again, I reemphasize that, which is very different from previous years. We are actually looking into an integral way of development, not only looking at the requirement or the needs of Hong Kong itself, but also looking in up north a little bit into Shenzhen area and see how we can actually work together for the benefit of both cities and for GBA itself. So starting from this is what we call the Northern District Metropolis area. So there are three sectors, the three circles here. So the three circles on this eastern part of it, in the eastern part, in the western part of it, it's actually the CUHK. CUHK is actually directly in the neighbor of Nanshan area, and people have already if you've been reading the news, you also realize that in Shenzhen they're trying to expand the Nansha area. So for what they call a modern service industry. So you can see that in this western part, it will be mainly based on modern service industry. And then you go east a little bit. When you go to the middle area, this is the area of Shentian and food, and this is in the middle part of it is the Lok Ma Chau Loop, or what we call He Tao. And then up a little bit on the north, this will be the Futian area. So this part of it will be the innovation and the technology zone. And in particularly, it is worth mentioning that in the policy address, it also mentioned that the government is actually planning in the He Tao area to start up the next, so to say, the next Inno-Hong Kong Center focused on medical and health, okay, life and health. Okay, and then to the east again, this blue zone here is actually including the Mayor Space, Daiawan, the Mayor Space, and the Yanzhou Tong, which is in our side. And this is the part where we do conservation, environmental engineering. One can imagine that in the future, they will be looking into research into sustainability, ESG, as well as this could become a national park with all the conservation elements in here. So this is the thing on the northern district, and there is also a term they call it two city, three circles. The two cities obviously is Shenzhen and Hong Kong, and the three circles are the circles that I just described to you, and they will be form an integral development strategic plan. And how do I see it from the technical side or innovation technology development side of it? So firstly, we talk about the idea of Northern Metropolis District and the Victoria Metropolitan District, which is the southern part in the central area. These two areas will actually form the idea of South Finance, which is the southern part, and the North Innovation Technology, the two distinct sort of areas, development area and industry areas that we're going to plan to develop. And out of that, you can see that in the Northern District, then we will have Smart City, which is on the eastern side in the Yanzhou Town area, and then innovation and technology, which is the Shentian area and the Hetao area, and then and the ESG is actually in the eastern part of it in the Yanzhou Town area. This part is the service part, which is in the Nansha area. Okay, and when you look at the technology side, it actually very closely related to the four main areas of key technology that Hong Kong is investing on, the government is investing on, including artificial intelligence, medical and health technology, smart city, and fintech. If you still recall, in 2018, in the policy address, this is the first policy address by Carrie Lam, and she actually spelled out these four main development areas in technology. Okay, and also, okay, so these are the planning of the thing. Just to again, this is just a summary of the thing. Yes, we are doing innovation, ICT, and then we have AI, which is on the western side, northwestern side, and then the medical health technology in the middle part, and then the smart city on the northeast part, and then the financial technology in the southern part. This is just a summary of the thing. How am I doing in time? I think I may overstretch a little bit. Chairman?
Yes. You have about 5 more. Well,
5 more minutes.
You only have
Okay.
1 more minute, but you can get another 2 more.
Okay, let me then go a little bit down to say what are the suggestions that we can do, taking into account of the our strength in Hong Kong. So one of the strengths that we have in Hong Kong is on this is about our school ranking, our college ranking. As you know, that in QS ranking 2022, actually 5 of our universities in Hong Kong are actually within 100, ranked within 100. Okay, and this ranking, we all know that we should not, base too much on these sort of rankings, but there are some truth behind that. And one of the evaluation of these sort of rankings is our research ability, and our basic research ability has been recognized by internationally as well as by the central government. Uh, Therefore, I think Hong Kong can play a role as a sort of a international research center for in the GBA. Okay, so we can actually invite more talents from GBA, from the mainland, and from the rest of the world to come to Hong Kong to do research. So I call it Mok Yan Hong. So when you come here, so if you can if you can establish yourself in Hong Kong, then I can say that you can establish yourself anywhere in the world. Okay. So in fact, we have been looking into this matter back in 2008 at the Chinese University. This is a roadmap that we have been doing for the past 15 years or so. I think Dr. Lin will actually say something about that. So I'm not going to emphasize stress anymore, but I just want to stress that we actually, the Chinese University of Hong Kong, actually look at look at the Guangdong, the Delta, Data Pearl area since 2006. We long before the GBA was actually introduced. So another thing, again, is based on our strength in research. So one of the idea is that as what we call, we can do the basic research in Hong Kong, but once we do, and we emphasize on research, the big R, R&D and big R. And the next is that once we have the technology, the idea, we still have to turn it into some kind of prototype, some kind of initial product. And this emphasize more on the big D, the big D side, the development side. So this can be done in GBA. But this is nothing new, but we have been doing that for years and years. Look at the manufacturing part of it. We have factories in Guangdong, in Shenzhen areas, and we have been doing that for a long time. But so what we can do is to bring our ideas into GBA and let them sort of do prototype testing, and then to do mass production. And the next thing is we can then go into the mainland market and do sort of the commercial part. And then finally, or in parallel, that you may find that some of the products can also fit internationally. Then you may want to go international to go out. When you go out, perhaps you need more cash. Then you probably would try to come back to Hong Kong again to go IPO to get more money. But you may ask this question: why Hong Kong and not Shenzhen and not Beijing? They all have financial center. Well, the reason that you may want to come to Hong Kong is exactly the international part of it. Everyone knows when you start business, when you get the money, it's not just the money itself. You also need the advice from your directors, from your investors, and you need the people who have the international experience who can help you to get out. Okay, and
you try to wrap up in half a minute.
Okay. Okay, and the third thing is about the what we call the digital currency electronic payment, or some people call it ECMI, electronic Chinese yen, Chinese yuan, RMB, Chinese RMB. Okay, so this has been very popular or have been in the mainland because this is their own currency, electronic currency. But because of the dual cycle, they are more focused on domestic usage now. So at some point, when the global economy go back into the norm, then somehow the China will have to go to tap into the international market again. But currently, that's true that because the COVID and because of the conflicts between America and China, so a lot of the international business has stopped. So currently, most of the business now is domestic, but eventually they will have to go out. But what about the interim? So the interim, maybe Hong Kong can play a role. Why can't we use Hong Kong as a test bed in order to try out international business? Okay, so that's a possibility as well. So in the matter of time, so I won't go through the actual thing, but this finally I want to conclude saying that in the previous years, in many years in Hong Kong, we always talk about small market, big government. We always talk about big market, small government. What we call laissez-faire approach. But this is not true. When you really look into the market, it's actually both. In the short and medium term, perhaps it's laissez-faire, but in the long term, in the strategic level, you really have to look at the big research that the government have done for you, and which takes you out, like what we are doing now in our 14th five-year plan. So I guess I'll stop here, and then we can talk a little bit more later.
Yeah, thank you, KF. Yeah,
Thank you.
We come back to some of these policy issues in our discussion. Let me turn to our second speaker, Dr. Huangquan Ling. Dr. Lin obtained his PhD from CUHK. He joined our Shenzhen Research Institute in 2016. He's currently the director of the Office of the Greater Bay Area Development, as well as the executive director of the Shenzhen RI at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. At the Shenzhen RI, Dr. Lin is responsible for managing all aspects of the Institute's development and management, including formulation and management of activities and research, training, technology transfer, entrepreneurship, and innovation, as well as property and facilities management. As the director of the Greater Bay Area Development Office, he provides support to the university GBA-related activities and initiatives. Dr. Lin's presentation will cover the sharing of cross-border research and innovation activities. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Lin. Lin, please.
Thanks a lot for Professor Cheung's introduction. I think it's my great honor to be here and share with you on the experience of cross-border research and innovation activity. As Professor Cheung said in introduction, I start to work for the Shenzhen Research Institute since the middle of 2016, which allowed me opportunity to handle many matters between Hong Kong and Shenzhen for almost 6 years. So most of my experience are based on the cross-border work, mostly focused on the executive arm of the cross-border activity. So, for example, the Shenzhen Research Institute, as you may know that the Shenzhen Research Institute was established in 2007 with the support of the Shenzhen municipal government. It is the first wholly owned subsidiary of the Chinese University of Hong Kong in Shenzhen. In fact, the institute was set up to facilitate activities of the CUHK members, such as research, training, industrial collaboration, so on and so forth. We have a 9-story building located in Nanshan High-Tech Science and Technology Park, which was complete in 2011 to support the mentioned activities. As we know that 15 years ago, the funding from mainland government cannot cross border and come to Hong Kong for CUHK's professor to engage the research project, either from the central government or from the local government granting agency. The same as an overseas agent, it is difficult for the CUHK scientists to conduct collaboration project with mainland industrial partners formally. So in fact, there's a demand for the scientists of Hong Kong to participate in the research project as well as to collaborate with the industry partners. However, so the establishment of the Shenzhen Research Institute provide a platform for CUHK scientists to get involvement of research and industry collaboration project of mainland China. Apart from this research and collaboration project, members of CUHK also can conduct some kinds of non-degree training workshop in Shenzhen RI. Since 2018, the Shenzhen set up an innovation and entrepreneur hub, which provide necessary facility and services for CUHK professors, students, and alumni to start their business in Shenzhen. So the main business of the Shenzhen Research Institute focuses on these 4 areas. For example, except for the PIs to conduct research activities in Shenzhen, it's important, every PI knows that it's important to seek for funding support from relevant funding agency. As we can see from this figure, that the major funding resources from governmental agents, we can see that from the NSFC, and most of the funding come from NSFC and most. Since 2012, the professors of CUHK have been granted for more than 500 projects in Shenzhen RI. However, people may ask how we can get this information of grant application. In fact, normally, Shenzhen RI and Office of Research and Knowledge Transfer Service would announce over 100 call for application every year. We will also post those granting information in our website and WeChat public account. Secondly, to complete this funding project, the PIs need to establish a team as well as the research platform in Shenzhen RI. So far, several key laboratories of CUHK have built up their Shenzhen research base, and several municipal level key laboratories have been awarded for the research and collaborative project. Meanwhile, we also set up some common laboratory and sharing space for the small team. We also joined the Shenzhen big-scale instrument share platform, which allow the research team to share the equipment and facilities of Shenzhen's institute. So far, there are around 30 research groups in Shenzhen RI to carry out their research project currently. Besides of this governmental funding, it's good for PIs to seek for collaboration projects with industrial partners. For example, over the years, the professors has gotten near 90 projects from industrial projects and other collaborators, such as hospitals, local universities, companies, research institute, so on and so forth. The Shenzhen RI sets to meet the demands on professional and international talents in Shenzhen and the mainland. Over the years, the Shenzhen RI also offer a number of training programs to cultivate outstanding talent for the Greater Bay Area. We also have international symposium and lecture frequency while enable effective communication and exchange among professionals from various industries. To the end, we held around 11 professional courses and 16 academic seminars during the past few years, attracting a total of over 1,800 participants. As we said that in 2018, with the support of the university, the Shenzhen RI established the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Hub. The Inno Hub aimed at designating to transferring and converting the research outputs of the university to become startup company in the Shenzhen, and to cultivate the former of CUHK's entrepreneur ecosystem. The Inno Hub holds a lot of joint efforts between industry, institutional, and research unit in Shenzhen and Hong Kong, which hope contribute to the development efforts of the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area, and the whole country. As we can see that to facilitate this innovation and entrepreneurship activity, the Shenzhen RI sets up some co-working space, independent offices, common laboratory, and open equipment platforms for both this research team and startups to carry out their projects, to develop their prototypes, and to carry out their experiment activity in the Shenzhen. As we may know that to those startups from Hong Kong, they may not start their business very smoothly. It's hard to, when they launching in Shenzhen, it's hard to start up their business in a short period. So Shenzhen RI has put a few of staff, experienced staff, to help this startup company. For example, to provide assistance in these legal, financial tax issues. So the InnoHub of the Shenzhen RI focus on these new generation of information technology, biomedicine, and so on and so forth. The startups in the InnoHub over the years, they gain a lot of recognition from relevant agents. For example, 3 companies have gained over 100 million capital investment, and 4 companies have been recognized as national high-tech companies, and 11 companies have been recognized as technology-based SMEs. And the InnoHub itself has been recognized by Ministry of Science and Technology as an important makerspace for this entrepreneur from Hong Kong. To enhance the impact of the InnoHub, the university and the Shenzhen Research Institute have put many efforts into the promotion of the platform as well as the individual startups. For example, the InnoHub and the startups have been publicized by many Hong Kong and mainland media so that more and more communities know them well. In 2021, with the support of the Shenzhen municipal government and the university, the Shenzhen RI has successfully organized the China Shenzhen Innovation and Entrepreneurship International competition and assist the university to hold the forum on Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area developments and output showcase of CUHK, which gained a lot of positive recognition from relevant stakeholders. As Professor Cheung said, last year we established the Office for Greater Bay Area Developments with the vision of enhancing the exposure and impact of the university in the region. So the office normally involves several roles, such as to provide information, advice, and solution on the specific development projects in Greater Bay Area. Secondly, to facilitate members of the university in sourcing and conducting a wide range project in research, potential talent hunting and training, commercial collaboration and technology transfer, innovation and entrepreneurship in Greater Bay Area. Third, to build a dynamic team of staff for executive support to activities of the university in GBA. For example, the university set up its Futian Innovation and Research Institute last year. For lay of the resources, then the Greater Bay Area Development Office is now currently provide this administrative support to this Futian Innovation and Research Institute. So as I am taking care of executive matter of the cross-border activity, so most of the experience are focused on the executive arm and come from the implementation of projects of the university over the year. in cross-bordering. Summary my 2 cents in these activities for information. Firstly, as we know that there might be a lot of difference between mainland China and Hong Kong. So we need to understand the difference between these 2 sides and between our counterpart, our collaborators. Secondly, we should try to meet different demand of the city of GBA. For example, what are the strengths and the strategic development, as Professor Wong said, what are the strategic development area of each party, each city? Moreover, there's no doubt that we will have a lot of communication with relevant stakeholders. For example, we should talk with government agents, granting agency, our collaborators, colleagues of the university. Last but not least, the most easier way is we may talk to relevant university-related platforms. For example, Shenzhen Research Institute, Futian Innovation and Research Institute, the Greater Bay Area Development Office. We also need to talk with our some of the associations, as we know that the government and the university, our alumni also build up a lot of association for this Greater Bay Area development aspect. We also need to talk with our partners, such as colleagues of the university admin office, colleagues of the Shenzhen RI, colleagues of Futian Innovation and Research Institute. So this is all my sharing. Thank you very much.
Our last speaker is Dr. Ling. He's the Choh-Ming Professor of Orthopaedics and Traumatology at CUHK. Professor Chin obtained his PhD from the German Sports University, Cologne, Germany. He has been working on basic and translation research in orthopedics over the past 30 years and served as the editor-in-chief of the Journal of Orthopedic Translation. He has published 9 books and over 300 SCI journal papers with an H index of 60. He holds over 30 invention or new utility patents from the PRC and the United States. He has also received many prestigious honors and awards for his contribution to musculoskeletal research and innovation in the area of biomaterials for orthopedic applications. He's currently director of the CUHK Hong Kong Shenzhen Innovation and Technology Institute at Futian, which Dr. Lin earlier referred to. Professor Chin will cover the development of the Hong Kong Shenzhen Innovation and Technology Research Institute Futian for CUHK and related R&D of medical devices in the GBA. Please join me in welcoming Professor Chin.
Thank you, Chairman Professor Fanny Cheung, and nice introduction. Also, thank you for the concurrent appointment for as the director of the center in Shenzhen. We call it briefly FITBIT. So I would like to share with you on the following 3 aspects. One is a brief introduction of the institute as the most recent CUHK site in the Lomazhou Loop. And second, of course, since I'm from Faculty of Medicine, I would like to share with you on the opportunities and the challenges in the registration of innovative medical devices and implants, if we like also drugs. And finally, our current efforts to work with the Futian government on the block funding to support the institute long-term sustainable development in Lomazhou Loop in Great Bay Area. So I think most of you are familiar with the Lomazhou Loop. Basically, 4 years ago, the our government here signed the memorandum with the Shenzhen government on this development in Lomazhou. So this is the area, Hong Kong side, Shenzhen side. What we are sitting here in this area. So this is a map summarizing the development in Lomazhou Loop. And basically there are 3 areas in Shenzhen, and here is from Hong Kong. What we are here currently in our Lomazhou area, Futian Baoshui Qu. So this is the overview of the location in Futian. Now the aim of our institution set there is on the innovation, industrial and market demands nationally and internationally. Certainly our demands for translational research using the mainland as a big market, of course. And a smart manufacturing made in China is our efforts, and AI technology, science technology resources in Hong Kong, and as mentioned, West market in the mainland is our motivation. And certainly we need to back up Hong Kong's manufacturing, industrial, and particularly in precision, in medical diagnosis and treatment. Now, of course, we understand the impact and long-term significance, including we try to convert our scientific findings, technologies from our university to industrial and clinical application using the innovation platform over there. And certainly we can upgrading and further development in our Great Bay areas based on the science and the technology booming in China overall. So at the moment, we have one project funded by both sides, Futian and our university, on the innovation platform for Shenzhen, Hong Kong smart medical robotics. Now, another one is pending for starting their activities is on the microbiota and human health. And we also proposed a couple number of relevant projects. Here, just an overview on the current development in the institute. Now, part of the institute been innovated, as mentioned, to start with surgical robotics. So the proposed project so far, we have identified 6 based on the common areas, the key areas we identified for our development in Lomazhou Loop, including medical technology, big data and AI, robotics, new materials, microelectronics, fintech, and of course, not exclusive is the future-oriented technologies that are on the development. Basically, we understand our strengths, also weakness. We are focusing on the R&D with big R because we, as a university, have good laboratories, highly technology-oriented staff, and of course, we have our clear objectives on the knowledge dissemination. And of course, we look for real benefits for the commercialization, but we still like spaces and collaboration partners, including the interface company, which we already mentioned on the entrepreneurship. And of course, later on, we need a really big industry, particularly on the device, the big machines, right? Also, all this integrated technology manufacturing side, we are lacking. So we need either industrial collaborators and eventually future, we can have good startup companies and to develop further. So we do appreciate and realize the challenge and the difficulties in this translational roadmap. On the medical side, of course, different area may have a different challenge and opportunities. And this is the courtesy photo from Professor Philip Chu. He delivered his talk just newly, and talking about surgical robotics, which may be classified as type 2 medical devices. So if we look at the translational roadmap, of course, we need clinicians, engineers, marketing, and IP regulatory issues. This is general for class 1 and class 2. But on the class 3 aspects, we need preclinical evidence, clinical testing trials, regulatory issues, marketing, and of course, the feedback from the users. And first generation become second generation and the third generation. So this is also a loop for class 3 medical devices, apart from industrial and of course, investors' involvement. Based on my own experience, the key success to such a smooth running regulatory industrial R&D center and the doctor-patient's relationship. And this chain circle is very important. Missing one part, you would not get your final products into better side. So what about the Hong Kong scenario? Basically, we know we have a health Department of Health who are focusing on service regulation on the products mainly imported. The key information I will not read word by word, but the key message: no regulatory body in Hong Kong at the moment for registration of our own R&D products for class 3 medical products. So this is because Hong Kong is rather small. So either we should work together with mainland or other, country or regions who have, official regulatory bodies for class 3 medical device or the implants or drugs approval. So of course, we are collaborating, work closely with National Medical Products Administration, used to be known as China FDA. So they have all the systems available from class 1 to class 3 medical device, and the clear regulations how to perform registration, clinical trials, and the product development. By realizing this importance of our development in Great Bay Area, the National Medical Product Administration Office has been, also committed to establish a side branch here in Guangdong, in Great Bay Area. So this is a new initiative, and right. So basically, this is the site. I should move a little bit. Yeah. Okay, this is the picture. They established the new center just next to our building in Shenzhen. So yeah, okay, in Shenzhen. But we realize that they provide a service. We need really integration. So I proposed one for integrating our Hong Kong R&D into the CFDA system. So I hope that Professor Kev would bring this to consultation in Beijing as well later on. So with these collective efforts, I think we need further development and close dialogue with Futian government for our efforts in 6 areas I mentioned above. So we last month, 2 months ago, basically 1.5 months ago, we conducted a forum in Great Bay Areas here, initiated by our university here. We signed, memorandum MOU with the Shenzhen government as well. After the meeting, we think to work on the block funding concept is very important for our development in the institute, in Futian Institute. We agree on that. So I started communication between university and Shenzhen government. Basically, we all agree on this concept by identify the strengths that fit in the 6 categories I mentioned before as a block funding concept for future support. We are looking forward to the reopening of the border so we can really facilitate such communication and implementation of the funding resources as well as staff and the facility development. Now, by looking at all this, I think we do have challenges and potential solutions we may provide based on what Dr. Ling just mentioned as well. So I just focus on the Futian Innovation Technology Institute. First of all, of course, funding is the issue for sustainable development. We're looking forward to block funding concept that probably is possible in near future. And manpower, talented people is very crucial. We may not recruit so many at the very beginning, but to enhance collaboration within universities, among partners, shortcut, I believe, and together with our efforts for new recruitment and later on integration based on our defined strategy development areas. We realize there are differences in policy and culture, so we should be open and adaptive. For adaptation, I think communication, modification of current policies and management systems and integration, and finally we can unify into one single system for management for future better efficient implementation are essential. So talents, young people is the future, we all realize. Now we do make efforts recruit many young talents from the region, from mainland, and we are also making efforts to recruit from international communities. I think a new era, new platform, and a new mission are very essential. Although we start with a small platform here in Lomazo Loop. I think with all your participation, guidance, and participation, that should be good to form a solid foundation for our future development. Okay, thank you.
Our next webinar will be on January 21st. And the topic is spatial planning for smart sustainability in Shenzhen, China's Silicon Valley. And I hope that we can also bring some insight into the development of our own northern metropolis with the idea of promoting smart cities. Our speakers for the next webinar will be Professor Kam-wai, and there will be 2 discussions, Dr. Kam-Shing Leung from Arab and Dr. Yuanzhou Tang from the Institute of Future Cities at CUHK. So we look forward to welcome you at our next webinar. At this point, I'd like to thank our 3 speakers again. Thank you for their presentation and very insightful discussion and answers to the question. I'd like to thank all the audience again for your participation. We'll see you in January. Thank you.